I was having so much fun with this, I thought, why not record it for posterity? So I'm going to do one of these beginning to end. Probably the canvas will not turn out great, but you know, sometimes good, sometimes not. So let me get my old one out of the way and we shall begin. All right, here we go. This is my very cheap canvases. They usually have these little silica gels inside. Make sure your animals, if you have them, do not eat those because that's not good. For a while I was trying to put the little tacks in that I use before I dampened it to tighten, but actually this one, yeah, it's a little loose. Okay, this is how you know it's a little loose. It's all floppy. You see how it's all like, you know. Okay, you probably can't see that. Anyway, it's floppy. If you look at it at an angle, you see little wrinkles in it. Also, when you go like this, it goes thud. So, I want to fix this, and I'll be right back. I'm back. All right, here you go. All I did was dampen it, and now it's got to dry. So, yay! Actually, give it a little airflow underneath. I'm gonna use a little popsicle stick. But yep, that's all it's got to do. Oh, check this out. Check this out. I love this. That is taunt. You can play a drum on that thing. Love it. Okay, now we're gonna wait. So I'm gonna mix me up some green paint. Woohoo! All right. I know everybody uses the little cups with the little stir sticks. Always a large one, never a little one. Oh my gosh. I have cramps in my hand like you wouldn't believe from stirring that stuff. Total yuck. So, you know, you stir, you stir, you stir. You get hand cramps, you get twitches in your palm. So, I'm not going to do that. Driving me freaking nuts. And, you know, I'm not really seeing too much of a difference between that method and this one. So I'm going to go with this one. The only thing with this one is I kind of feel like you need to let it sit a little while. So I'm going to use myself some green. Really, any acrylic paint seems to do about the same thing. You can get house paint, you can get artist paint, you can get, as long as it says acrylic, you should be good. There might be some difference, but I really don't know what it is. This is a very bright green color. I'm not a huge fan of bright green. Oh my gosh. Shake. Okay, it's been sitting in this bottle for a little while, obviously. Also, another warning, if you use paint that's old, you will regret it. You will get a crazy bumpy surface, like it's totally freaky. Wait, can you hear me? I backed up a little bit. Okay, so like, okay, you see right there with all the crazing and weird stuff going on in that one? That is probably not caused by bumpy paint. But this right here, whoops, can't see that at all, can you? This right here, you see how it's like super bumpy? Do you know how, okay, never mind. You know how old that paint was that I used for this? It was like 10 years old. I don't know. It was crazy. So, yeah. Don't use old paint unless you really want some bumpy stuff. Which, hey, maybe you do. You know, pretty much I think anything you make it work. But, you know, you just keep fiddling with it until it comes together in a way that you like. So, but this stuff is totally new. So, yay. And I love this stuff because it's already mixed with a little bit of pouring medium, which is fantastic. So, awesome. Okay, this right here is my super fun trick. And really, I just kind of, I don't really know what I'm doing. Okay, a little bit of this, There you go. This one already has pouring medium in it, like I said, so I'm not going to freak out about it. Man, all these are still lidded. Whoops. Okay. So this is, okay, so this was Flow Acrylic, and this is fancy stuff, which I can't believe I'm adding to Flow Acrylic. Don't anybody, you know, freak out on me about that. And if you do, I don't care. Okay, so I'm just sort of eyeballing it. I'm giving it about a third, I guess. I don't want to waste too much of this stuff on that. Ooh, wait a minute, I thought I forgot this one. I wanted to add some of this one. This one is sort of old, but I'm not gonna freak out about it. Okay, come on, come on. This one does not a Flow Acrylic. Come on, down, down, do it. It's like a freaking ketchup bottle. Do it, do it. You know you want to. There. I just thought the other one was a little bit green, so I wanted to give it a little bit of blue. So I did that. Okay, let's get rid of these. And whoops. Where'd it go? Oh, right down here. Okay, and then secret weapon. Whoops. Floetrol. Totally awesome. Okay, gotta shake it real quick. Give it a little swish. Another little swish. I'm not really leaving that much room for water. Hopefully I'm not making this too thick. Okay. Good to go. Give it a pour. You want about, well, since this one already had pouring medium in it, I worry about putting too much more pouring medium in it. So I put the wrong cap on the wrong container. This is what happens when I talk and do this at the same time. If you can't tell, this is my very first video. Okay, here we go. Let's move it along. You'll notice I did not put any water in there. That is not because I'm not going to put water. It's because it's not time yet. Okay. This is so much easier on my hand. Only danger is if the little top comes off. That would really, really suck. So I'm not going to squeeze. I don't usually. I just do it with my finger over there. I just forgot for a little bit. Oh God, it's still exhausting. This is the most annoying part of the whole process. Whew. All right. Also, there's a little bit of leakage going on. By the way, love, love, love this thing right here. This is a, it's one of those absorbent bed pads that everybody uses for everything nowadays. It's fantastic. You know, you can actually get one of these to pull water out of carpeting. It's, don't ask me why there was a cup of water poured into the carpet, but there was, and now it's not there. Woohoo! Of course, that was several years ago, but still, I guess it would have evaporated by now. But it doesn't need to, because I removed it. Oh my God, my arm is so tired now. Whew. Okay. Clearly, I need to go out to the gym more often. Okay, this is what those pads look like. These things are fantastic. Woo, there we go. Assurance Premium Underpad. I love it. They just absorb it, you know, it drips on it, it absorbs it. I'm working inside where you would normally be like, you don't want paint everywhere. There's not paint everywhere because of my fabulous absorbent pad. I'll shut up now. Oh my gosh, still. You know what? This is more ridiculous. I'm not sure I'm even gonna use green in this project. I just wanted some. Wow, it's very drippy. Let's see if I need any water. It's a little gluggy. Let's add a little bit of water if I have any room. I overfilled this thing. Oh yeah, plenty of room. so I didn't overfill this thing. I used to do this thing where I would do each cup individually for the project. And that totally sucked. Okay, a little bit of a water at a time. The most annoying thing you can possibly do is accidentally add too much water, and then you get like drippy paint, and it sucks because drippy paint is awful and it creates all sorts of problems with your painting. Okay, I didn't mean drippy exactly, I meant overly drippy. Drippy is good. Drippy is what we're going for. That's why we're doing pour medium into the paint. But overly drippy is bad. Overly drippy creates all sorts of crazy. Also, I didn't know if you noticed, but I added both Floetrol and the glazing medium. Obviously, I used the fancy Liquitex stuff, but you can actually use just poly or something like that. Oh, I need to work out. You can use poly or something like that, and it's totally cool because what it does is it kind of counteracts the Floetrol. Floetrol is awesome, but it sort of dulls the paint a little bit. So I pop in some glazing back into the mixture, which lets me not use glazing for the whole thing. So it kind of gives it a little bit more shine. And obviously you can kind of balance that with how much shine you're looking for. Like obviously if you wanted it super shiny, you would use entirely varnish for your pouring medium. But, or at least a glaze varnish for your pouring medium. Excuse my words, please do not pay any attention to anything I say because my words, obviously I have trouble with them. Okay, I think we're good. Ah, it exploded. This is why we have the mat. Okay, here we go. It's still a little gluggy, unless that's drippy. Drippy gluggy. What's going on in there? Let me try the stick method. Yeah, I think that is way too thick. No! Oh yeah. This is the other thing. Even trying to avoid it, I still end up using it. So annoying. Okay, it's almost to the right point, but needs more water. So I used to do this pouring the water out of a big, enormous jug, and that so didn't work. It's like you think you're putting just a little in there, and it turns out that you're putting an enormous amount in there. And then you're like, whoops, I just ruined my paint that I worked so hard on completely. Also sucks. So I don't want to do that. Okay, I have just run out of water. Please tell me that was enough. You're looking for something that's kind of like watery honey. Watery honey is good. Honey, not so good. Drippy honey, also not so good. So it's a very, very delicate balance. Wow, that is like honey. Okay, maybe slightly watery honey, but it's not watery enough. Pause. Okay, I use bottled water for the water. I don't know how much of a difference it makes, but I figure you never know what's in tap water. It's better just to err on the side of caution. So, okay, let me try to rescue this gelatinous mess. Oh my gosh. Okay, so when I do this with a cup, stirring in the cups is much neater. Let me just be clear. Every single time that I have tried to stir directly in the bottle, it has been a mess. Now you may ask, why then do I use the bottle? It's because the bottle is so much easier to stir. Love me the bottle. I mean, that came out wrong. Okay. Come on, be the right amount of water this time. would probably be more practical for me to for me to actually measure what I'm putting in here, but I kind of like to go with the flow, figure it out as I go. And that doesn't necessarily always turn out great, but it's fun. Why not? Okay, this is dripping all over my finger. Okay, B. That looks about right. Yeah. Hopefully that's not too watery. Okay. Woohoo! Paint! Oh. All right, now I go back to waiting for the canvas to dry. More boring. Ooh, by the way, sticks, these sticks, you totally just rinse them off. Another YouTube video, which was totally awesome, said just rinse them off and reuse them, and they were so freaking right. I love it. Voila, rinsed. Now I just let it dry. All good. I'm back. All right. I'm thinking about this, and I'm thinking maybe I will do a pour. It looks like the canvas is mostly dry and awesomely still taut. You see, this is where I don't like these canvases as much as I could like them. Sometimes they have little issues on the corners because instead of being stretched, they were cut. But not bad, not bad. And I mean, I do love a taut canvas. Also, occasionally you get little issues with the frames, but this one looks pretty good. All right, boom. Okay, first up, I gotta put the tacks on. I probably should have done this ahead of time, but I didn't. So this is my technique. I get another canvas. I put this canvas on top of it because my board is totally covered with paint right now, which is a problem. All right, and then I put in the little tacks. That's actually quite difficult. All right. And the reason I put them in right now instead of before I dampen it is because if you put them in before you dampen it, assuming you have to dampen it, I mean, you don't need to do that every single time. But if you do need to, because it's a floppy canvas, the tack reacts to the wood when the wood is damp, and it can pull out pretty easily. If I put them in when the wood is relatively dry, then it doesn't do that. And I just put that on top of paint. So let's let that dry over there. Now I take my tacked canvas and I drop it. Wow, that fills the entire screen, doesn't it? Okay, that's... All right, what am I gonna do? All right, of course, I'm gonna do white. Am I gonna do a pour? I think I'm gonna do a sink strainer pour today. Yay! I mean, a lot of people on the web have done this one. It's a lot of fun, but I haven't done it in a little bit, so whoops. I'm gonna give it a shot. All right, first things first. Shall I do a, you know what? Actually, how much black paint do I have? I can work with that. I think I'm gonna do a black background instead of a white background today. Unusual. Or I could do a green background. I have a ton of green. Let's do black. I like the black better. Wait a minute, let's give it a swish. Okay, I don't want to put too many bubbles in it. Bubbles are not good. That's the other reason why after you... Oh dear, there we go, that's what happens. No, got a little slug coming out of there, don't you? Yeah. Okay. Oh, that was a waste of black, wasn't it? There we go. Okay, black background. This is actually not an entirely black background. This is a black metallic background. And I use my trusty cookie spatula. This thing is awesome. I mean, they have like fancier ones, but it's much larger than most of the other ones I've found. And I got it at Walmart for like $5 for making cookies with, which is what I usually use it for. Shh, don't tell. There we go. Actually, I haven't started using I haven't made cookies with it since I started using it for spreading paint, so we'll have to see. I think it'll just wash clean though. That's my theory. I'm going with it. It's very important to have a good theory. Okay, there we go. And you're like, why do you have all that extra paint on there? Well, very important reason. Okay, and I could do this with a spatula, but I think this will just be easier. Yeah, definitely easier. So you're giving it a base layer. If you don't, then it's got nothing to slide on, which gets very annoying very, very quickly. And since in this kind of painting you want it to cover the entire canvas, including the edges, you need to make sure that the edges get a good layer of paint also. And it needs to still be damp when you start putting the other paint down, because the whole point is to give it a lubricant. In fact, a lot of the times I use, actually most of the time I use white, and the white just completely, you don't even see it in the final product, but it is there. It is below there. All right, let me smooth this back out again. Don't I just love, oh, very important. Must have those on hand. All right, let's center this back up. All right, and then smooth. Mostly I'm just trying to keep there from being in any white spots. Keeping in mind this is not like a final layer. Except toward the edges. You just sort of want to have it smooth around the edges, because sometimes the paint doesn't end up reaching that far. I don't want to have any like gritty areas where it's just canvas. Anyway, you never know how one of these is going to come out. That's part of the fun. All right, boom. It's not super smooth, but it's smooth enough. All right, I'm gonna go rinse my hands real quick. All right, I rinsed my hands. Woo! And I also brought my handy dandy damp washcloth, because very important for keeping your palette knife clean. Super important. I think, you know what? I think I'm gonna do 2 pours. Let's do a corner and then a corner. Okay, so you can either do a cup and fill the cup and pour it in here, or you can do it a little bit at a time, color by color. And I think I'm gonna do it that way, you know, just for fun. Let's see what happens. This could be a total disaster. I'm a little distracted. All right, so here we go. notice my rag is back there. There we go. Getting some little bubbles coming up. I like the ethereal thing I got going on along the edges. And then I got this little heap of paint right there, which I like. I'm just not sure I like it as much. Is my head in the way? Oh my gosh. You totally can't see this at all, can you? There. That's a little better. That's what I got going on right now. But if I keep leaning it like that, it's going to... I'm doing this for the paint, not for you. I swear. Okay. What am I thinking? What am I thinking? I always start out one direction and end up another direction. And now I'm playing music with the canvas. I told you it sounds like a drum. Right? I love that. Okay, that's what's going on. Yeah, it's just kind of like boring. Okay. There is a point at which it will start to dry, and you really can't do too much at that point. It actually doesn't happen very fast though, because the Floetrol and possibly the other pouring mediums I've used tend to, like the Liquitex, they tend to slow the drying process, and you actually get, I mean, I've worked with paintings the next morning before. Although, you really can't, I mean, it's going to be half dry by then, so I wouldn't get too excited about that. You will be disappointed, but, I mean, if I have to, like, save something when it's drying, sometimes things happen. And since I am being a little fast and loose with paint rolls, there's occasionally things that have to be fixed. And that's okay. I mean, there's no reason you should be scared to fix something. I would rather play with it than get myself in a situation where, you know, I'm too scared to do anything. I'm here to have fun, not to follow any silly paint rules of physics. So, here we go. Okay, let me see. Okay, I try to wait until the last second for the hot air, because as soon as you get the hot air going on, the acrylics start to dry faster. That is not to say they dry. They just dry a little faster. So, let's see what happens. Yes, I know. I've heard it all. You have the people that are all about the paint. not getting overheated. And then you have the people that are all about the the cells using the heat gun. And I realize my hair dryer is loud, but I'm balancing between the two schools of thought. Yes, I don't want to get my paint overheated, but I don't think the hair dryer really does that. It just gives it a little something something. And I'm okay with that. I'm not gonna spaz. Do you know how much heat a painting will get subjected to over life? Have you ever seen a painting in storage by somebody who's really not paying that much attention? They get way hot. So I'm not gonna freak out about a little warmth. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Sorry, I tend to blather. Okay, there you go. I'm a little worried it's going to end up murky when it starts to dry. So it has some whites, but not a lot of whites. It's got some dark areas over here which look cool right now. But once they dry, probably it's going to get a little bit murky. So I'm a little worried about that. Same thing right there. Same thing right here. I like what's going on right there, but I'm a little worried about the blues. Never know what the blues are going to do. Overall, I think decent. I do not like what's happening with that light reflection. Still reflecting. Okay, I gotta fix this light situation. Shiny paint, shiny light. So there you go. It's a pour swipe, 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 swipe. And it's a bit of a muddled mess, but I had fun. Woo! Okay. Oop, there's some more paint. I wonder what that would look like. Maybe right here. Maybe not. Maybe so. Maybe so not. Maybe, maybe. Okay, it's doing it for me. There. Not bad. Not great. I've done better, but not many. That's because I'm not that good. Okay, but oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I mean, who doesn't like to finger paint? That's fantastic. Actually, I kind of like it. I gotta take a picture of it while it's still pretty before, whoops. Okay, that's kind of weird looking. Let me try this. What do I need? What do I need? Maybe not white, maybe a little bit more gold. Don't like that. And this is what I end up doing. I just tinker with it for a couple of hours. So I'm sure this can get really boring. Feel free to fast forward all the way to the end if you haven't already. And it's okay. I'm not offended. There. Boom, boom, boom. And this is why all my paintings end up with paint underneath it, like where I'm holding it back here. Yup. Like, okay. Oh, well, that one's not so bad, but it ends up like back there. Pretty much on all of them. Let me, Well, come on. Okay, I couldn't find an easy example. Never mind, I'll cut that part. And here we are. Good angle shot. No, there you go. Done deal. We'll see how it dries. I'll let you know tomorrow. Actually, I think I want to show you after it dries, because so many times we see the good stuff when it's like all sparkly and cool looking, and we don't realize that the morning after does not always look the same. It does a lot, but not always. I'm just saying. So, wow, that is a horrible shine, and then you get a shade. I'm just really not very good at this whole camera thing, am I? Oh well. So, super fun. Please, I hope you enjoyed my recording of me goofing off. And maybe I'll even post more. You never know. Oh my gosh. Okay. Good morning. Okay, just for any of you folks out there wondering how fast paint dries, because there must be so many of you, I am sure. This is how fast paint dries. It's 8 hours later, and she's still about, I don't know, I think about halfway through the drying process. It's a pretty thick level of paint. I don't know if you can, do you see how shiny it is right there? That is wet paint. Wet paint make the shiny. Dry paint make the not shiny. You see where it's starting to dry along the edges? So dry paint, wet, very wet paint everywhere. Okay, a little bit of dry over here. See? Anyway, 8 hour mark. 8 hour mark. Keep in mind this is acrylic paint. Pretty thick, but not like super thick. I mean, I swiped a lot of it, so there you go. 11 hours. These are little paint spatulas, super handy. I got them on Amazon. They have handy little numbers to remind you what you're looking at or something. I have no idea, because really you're looking at a spatula. Okay, it's not called a spatula, it's called a palette knife, but I don't care. Come on, how does that not look like a spatula? It's a paint spatula, right? Anyway, there you go. Paint spatulas! Woo! This one and this one are my favorites. Number 3 and number 4. 3 and number 4. They are little and yet not big, and big and yet not little. So they're totally awesome. Also this one, not a spatula either. Actually, I think it is a spatula. Literally, it's a cookie spatula. So, which I do and have made cookies with. Obviously not right now, while it's covered with paint. But, yeah, fair warning, if I ever make you any cookies, this is what I used. Super handy tip. This thing is awesome. Okay, so this is what tells me if I'm about to paint on an unlevel surface. With most paint, you paint on a canvas that's kind of at an angle, but not with this. If you do that with this, the paint will literally slide off the canvas. Pour paints were not made for a not flat canvas. Very important. So you want it to be on a flat surface. And if you're working with something really pory, then the flat surface needs to be unbelievably flat. Otherwise, you're going to end up with everything sagging off to one direction. Oh, let me show you this. Okay, so this right here, once upon a time, had the white section in the middle. and then it dried sort of like this at an angle. Well, you can't see that in the, okay, it dried sort of like, whatever. It dried slanted. And guess what happened? It went phoop, all the way off the edge. Yep. I still regret what could have been. It's still fun, but yes, so a leveler. And what's super cool about this leveler is that it is, it's a flat surface leveler. So you like stick it on a flat surface and it tells you whether or not you have that surface completely level, and it tells you what direction it's not level in. Oh my gosh, almost got it. There it is, there it is. It's totally level for a second. Oh my gosh, I can't do that. Anyway.